Imagine standing right on the edge of a new world with a whole nation at your back. Well, that is the incredible scene in Deuteronomy 27. Today, we're not just going to read some ancient text. Oh no, we are going to transform this epic ceremony into a visual story that is impossible to forget, going verse by verse through one of the most cinematic moments in the entire Bible. All right, let's jump in. Here's how we're going to break it down. First up, we'll see the command to build this permanent, very public reminder of God's law. Then we'll watch as the stage gets set for a huge national vow. After that, we'll hear the 12 curses that kind of define the community's boundaries. And finally, we'll dig into the incredible power of just one single unified word, Amen. So the story kicks off with a command directly from Moses. Before the people can even think about settling into their new homes, they've got this massive construction project to tackle. And this isn't just about building a monument, It's about carving their identity right into the landscape of the promised land. Okay, let's walk through this. Verse 1 starts with Moses and the elders. You can just imagine their voices carrying across the whole camp. Then verse 2 hits him with the first big job. The second you cross the Jordan River, you have to find some massive stones and set them up. Picture it, the strain, the effort of heating these giant raw stones into place. They're told to coat them in plaster, which would make them gleam bright white, like a giant blank canvas right there in the wilderness. So what goes on this canvas? Well, verses 3 and 4 tell us, all the words of this law, written on a specific mountain, Mount Ebal, so everyone can see it forever. It's a permanent public statement of who they are. But it's not just about the monument. Verses 5 through 8 add all these rich ceremonial layers to this moment. Verse 5 commands them to build an altar right there, but with this really specific rule. Only use natural, uncut stones, no iron tools allowed. Just picture hands carefully stacking these rough stones, making something that feels organic and part of the earth itself. Then, verse 6 describes the burnt offerings on this altar, a symbol of their total dedication to God. But then, in verse 7, the whole mood shifts. They offer peace offerings, which leads to a command to eat and rejoice. See, this isn't some grim, solemn duty. It's a national party, a celebration. And finally, verse 8 really drives the point home. Write the law very plainly. Imagine a close-up on those giant, clear letters, so bold that no one could ever say they didn't understand. All right, so the physical foundation is laid out. The monument and the altar are all planned. Now, the human drama is about to begin. Moses and the priests are getting the people ready for one of the most serious, awe-inspiring moments of their entire history. Verse 9, this is the pivot point. Moses and the priests make this massive declaration. Can you just feel the weight of those words settling over hundreds of thousands of people? This is it. This is their official identity. And verse 10 follows up immediately with the implication, because this is who you are now, you have to listen and obey. Identity and responsibility, boom, fused together in one moment. And this is where it gets really cinematic. Verses 11 through 13 lay out the scene. Moses commands the people to literally split in two. He names 6 tribes, Simeon, Levi, Judah, and so on, to stand on Mount Gerizim to pronounce the blessings. Then he names the other 6, Reuben, Gad, Asher, and tells them to stand on Mount Ebal, the same mountain with that stone monument, to affirm the curses. The whole nation becomes this living, breathing stage with 2 giant choirs on opposite hillsides, ready for the most important call and response they will ever perform. So now we get to the absolute heart of the ceremony. And look, I know it can be jarring to hear the word cursed over and over again, but try to think of these less as punishments and more like bright, clear lines that the nation is drawing together. These are the non-negotiables, the guardrails they all agree to live within to protect their community. Verse 14 kicks the action into gear. The Levites, the priests, are standing down in the valley between the 2 mountains. Just imagine their powerful voices trained for this very moment, echoing up the slopes. They are the ones who will call out, and an entire nation, split onto 2 mountains, is holding its breath, waiting to respond. The very first curse, right here in verse 15, goes after secret idolatry. This isn't about someone openly defying God. It's about the person who does it in private. Picture someone hiding a little carved idol in a dark corner of their tent. It's an act that poisons the community's relationship with God from the inside. And from both mountainsides, a single thunderous voice roars back, Amen, which means, so be it, we agree. Verse 16 immediately zeroes in on the foundation of their entire society, the family. Cursed is the one who dishonors their parents. This protects the very first building block of the community. And again, The entire nation, hundreds of thousands of people, shouts in total agreement, Amen. The next three curses build this powerful shield around the most vulnerable people. Verse 17 protects property. Don't you dare secretly move your neighbor's boundary stone to steal a little more land. Verse 18 protects the helpless. Don't maliciously trick a blind person and send them the wrong way. And verse 19 protects those without power. Don't you dare twist justice against the foreigner, the orphan, or the widow. These curses show us what the society values. A nation is judged by how it treats those who can't defend themselves. 3 times the call goes out, and 3 times the nation roars back its promise, Amen. Next up, verses 20 through 23 draw these sacred boundaries inside the family itself. Each one deals with an act that would be a profound violation of trust and order. Verse 20 protects the bond between father and son. Verse 21 draws a clear line about human dignity. And verses 22 and 23 protect the integrity of sibling and in-law relationships. These aren't just rules, they're powerful statements about the sanctity of family. 4 times the call goes out, and 4 times the nation shouts Amen, building this wall of protection around their homes. The curses then turn to hidden violence, the kind of stuff that rots a community from the inside out. Verse 24 isn't talking about open warfare. It's about a secret attack, a whispered lie, a betrayal that destroys someone's life from the shadows. And verse 25 condemns the ultimate corruption, taking a bribe to arrange the murder of an innocent person. For both of these, the people's response is this unified roar against the darkness. Amen. And finally, we get to the capstone in verse 26. This is the big one, the all-encompassing clause. It basically says you can't just agree with the first 11 curses. You have to agree to live by the entire law, all the words written on those stones. It's a promise to uphold the whole covenant, not just cherry-pick the parts you like. And with one final massive shout, the nation seals its promise. Amen. So the echoes fade from the mountains. The ceremony is over, but its impact is really just beginning. And the focus now shifts from the harsh sound of the word curse to the incredible unifying power of that single word they repeated 12 times. Amen. So here's the crucial takeaway. There were 12 curses proclaimed, one for each of the 12 tribes of Israel, standing on those hillsides. But this wasn't just a list of things to be afraid of, it was a list of 12 public promises. Each Amen was a tribe saying, we promise we won't do this. We promise to protect the vulnerable. We promise to uphold justice. We promise to protect the family. It was this moment of profound unity, where they all collectively defined their national character out loud for everyone to hear. And that really leaves us with a thought for today, doesn't it? This ancient ceremony was designed to be public, loud, and totally unforgettable. Everybody heard it, everybody saw it, and everybody responded together. In a world where so much of what we believe is kept private and individual, it kind of makes you wonder, what's the power we might be missing out on? What is the power of a clear public promise made together for the good of all?